The lights inside the grand auditorium dimmed, and the wave of anticipation spread through the audience like an electric current. The massive LED screen glowed with the name of the next contestant, Ethan Walker, age 14. Backstage, a thin nervous boy with messy brown hair clutched a worn-out guitar to his chest. His trembling fingers brushed across the faded strings. The guitar wasn't just an instrument, it was the only thing his father had left him. Ethan took a deep breath. He could almost hear his father's voice in his head. Music isn't about being perfect, son. It's about being honest. That memory gave him the strength to take his first step toward the stage. The lonely beginning. Ethan grew up in a small town, where dreams rarely left the horizon. His mother worked double shifts at a diner, doing everything she could to keep their tiny apartment and pay for his school. His father, a struggling musician, had passed away 3 years earlier in a car accident while driving home from a late-night gig. After his death, the world seemed to lose its color for Ethan. The laughter they used to echo in their home was replaced by silence and unpaid bills. But in that silence, he found one thing that still made sense: his father's old guitar. He started teaching himself how to play by watching old YouTube videos and listening to his dad's recordings. He practiced until his fingers bled, replaying the same songs over and over again, especially his dad's favorite, Hotel California. Every note, every lyric, carried his father's memory. But dreams don't pay rent. And when Ethan's mom lost her job, they almost lost their home. That's when he made a bold decision: to audition for Starrise, the country's biggest talent show. He didn't care about fame. He just wanted to learn enough to help his mom and make his dad proud. The audition. When Ethan's name was called, he stepped onto the stage. The crowd clapped politely, but he could feel the weight of their expectations. He was just a skinny kid holding an old guitar, standing before 4 powerful judges and thousands of strangers. "Hi there, what's your name?" one judge asked kindly. I'm Ethan. Ethan Walker, and what will you be singing for us today?" Ethan hesitated, then smiled faintly. "A song that meant everything to my dad, Hotel California." The audience murmured. It was a bold choice, a legendary song, nearly impossible to pull off. The judges exchanged skeptical looks. One whispered, "That's ambitious." Ethan adjusted the mic, his hands shaking. The lights dimmed, a soft spotlight landed on him, and the first delicate chords of Hotel California filled the air. The moment at first, the room was quiet, almost too quiet. His voice wavered slightly, betraying his nerves. But as he reached the second verse, something changed. His fear dissolved into emotion. His tone grew stronger, hauntingly beautiful. It wasn't a perfect performance, it was raw, aching, and real. Every word carried the pain of loss, the loneliness of nights spent missing someone who'd never return. And somehow, everyone in that hall felt it. The guitarist judge, known for being brutally honest, leaned forward, his eyes widening. The audience began to sway softly. Even the stage crew paused what they were doing to listen. When Ethan hit the line, "You can check out anytime you like, but you can never leave," his voice cracked with heartbreak. And that's when it happened. The camera caught one of the judges silently wiping away a tear. As the final chord faded, the room exploded into applause. People stood up. Some cheered. Some simply stared in disbelief at the 14-year-old who had just transformed one of rock's greatest songs into something deeply personal. Ethan lowered his guitar, breathing heavily. For a moment, he thought it was over. Then, bam! The golden confetti erupted from the ceiling. The golden buzzer. All 4 judges had smashed it together. The transformation. The sound of the buzzer echoed through the studio as golden lights poured down on Ethan. His hands covered his mouth in shock. He looked at the judges, confused, almost not believing what just happened. One of them stood and said, "Ethan, I've heard hundreds of versions of that song, but none like yours. You didn't just sing it, you lived it. That was your soul on stage." Another judge leaned forward, voice trembling. "Your father would be so proud of you." That line broke him. Tears streamed down his face as he looked up into the lights, whispering, "Thank you, Dad." Backstage, his mother was crying uncontrollably, holding her phone to record every second. She couldn't stop repeating, "That's my boy, that's my boy." The aftermath, that one performance changed everything. Clips of Ethan's audition spread across social media like wildfire. Within hours, millions of people had seen his heartfelt rendition. Comments flooded in, "This made me cry. He sang with his soul, the most emotional version ever." Music producers reached out. Schools invited him to perform. He was no longer the quiet boy from a small town. He was a symbol of hope, of perseverance, of love that lives beyond loss. But through all the fame, Ethan remained humble. He continued to live simply with his mom, still playing the same old guitar with the worn-out strings. During one live interview, when asked what the golden buzzer meant to him, he said softly, "It's not about winning. It's about keeping someone's memory alive through music." Every time I sing, I feel my dad's hand on my shoulder again. The emotional finale. Months later, Ethan returned to the same stage for the final round. This time, the judges didn't just see a boy, they saw an artist. When the lights dimmed and Ethan began playing again, the audience already knew they were witnessing something special. His voice carried strength, warmth, and healing. At the end of his performance, instead of applause, there was silence, that powerful kind of silence that only comes when people are too moved to speak. Then, slowly, the crowd rose to their feet, clapping through their tears. One of the judges whispered into the mic, "Sometimes, the smallest voices carry the biggest hearts." Closing. Ethan didn't just sing Hotel California. He turned it into a song about love, loss, and the power of never giving up on your dreams, no matter how broken life feels. And as the credit rolled on his story, one thing became clear: kindness, love, and music have the power to heal even the deepest wounds. So if you're out there chasing a dream, remember Ethan's story, a boy who turned pain into purpose.